Greetings, YouTube family. Today I'm going to speak about shadow work, light work, or raising your vibration, as well as the path of the performance shaman or the savage shaman. We received a question on the Primal Sutra community about how people give you the advice generally to do shadow work and at the same time raise your vibration. At first, this seems contradictory. Like, wait, you have shadow work and then you have light work, right? Shadow workers are going into the darkness. Light workers are raising their vibes or going towards the light. And we could split these up into many different ways. The path of truth through the path of falsehood, or the rising and falling. At Primal Sutra, we've called this the underworld and the oversoul. First of all, start to understand that there's many ways of going about this, and there's not one way to do shadow work, just like there's not one way to raise your vibration. Also understanding that these people are speaking to people at different levels of their spiritual awakening or spiritual journey, okay? Or personal development journey. I think it's all the same, okay? That's just my own perspective. I believe it's all the same. And that spirituality is like the secret glue that kind of holds it all together, our health, wealth, and performance, and relationships, in terms of our health, wealth, and relationships. Now that we have that handled and out of the way, and also read the disclaimer, the description of this video, stating that this is a path, this is not the path. And this is what I found works for me. Earlier, I was flung into shadow work because of the circumstances of my life. They weren't where I wanted it to be. I was at a very negative and low place in my mind. And so it was much easier to resonate at the frequency of doing shadow work at that time. Now, what I noticed is I started doing shadow work and I started to feel a lot worse. I wasn't getting better, okay? Now, what I was missing was the key element of self-love. So it is my belief that self-love and a high self-esteem is the foundation. From there, you can do shadow work. And as you do shadow work, you're clearing up the gunk here. You're also clearing up the opposite side. Okay, so that means you're more likely to raise your vibes if you've done the shadow work, because you've cleared up all the gunk, all the hidden reservoir, right, in your unconscious mind that you repressed. And the moment it becomes conscious, once you do shadow work, it's now bubbling up to the conscious mind. Now it's more within your regulation. Now here's the real issue. A lot of people come into this wanting to be lopsided, wanting to promote themselves towards one side, and that's completely fine. You can raise your vibration and do the shadow work at the same time, but it's not going to bring you progress. It's almost like, you know, when you say to someone, are you bulking or are you cutting? Right? Same kind of concept. It's like you're going to have to use two different protocols to get those two different things, right? How I would go about doing this, and if you want to follow along with this, go for it by all means. If you don't, then follow your own path or seek some help somewhere else. But what I would say is get the self-love, get the high self-esteem, then do the shadow work, then raise your vibration, then keep doing the shadow work to clean up any of the remaining residue and gunk, and keep ascending upwards, upward spiral, gang, gang. Don't listen to advice of people that you don't want to be like. Don't enable others to control you. Take what people say with a grain of salt. Don't believe everything that they say 100%, okay? Use your own discernment and, healthy skepticism. Practice understanding some of these terms. So the real answer here, my friend, is where are you at? Do you feel like you're lower, or do you feel like you're at a high place? And that will determine your next steps. Oftentimes, people after a spiritual awakening, they pop. They're in that negative, and they pop suddenly, and then now they're conscious, and now they're moving upwards. Okay, for others, it's a different process. For some, it's just years of drilling, okay, and momentum and meditating, right? To crystallize that awakening. For others, it's much more movement-based and making meditation your life and mindfulness. So which path working do you want to follow? Because in Primal Sutra, this is what we've decided. We're going to explore and traverse the underworld, but before that, we take care of the self-love, we do the self-love rituals, we explore the darker realms or the hidden aspects of ourselves, the underworld. And then from there, we raise our vibes. We work on our health. Because it all really starts with health. What good is having a lot of money if you don't have the health to back it up? What good is being in relationships when you're unhealthy in that relationship? So the performance shaman understands that. The performance shaman is the in-between, the bridge between shadow work and light work. Okay? So in a sense, we are the gray workers, the flow workers, the ones who are traversing that liminal space and creating the most clarity that we can for ourselves on this journey, which is very muddied. I get it. Like there's so much vague, weird shit out there, right? In terms of spirituality, where you're like, what? What? I'm very, very tapped into my right brain. Okay? I have been since I was a very young child. And my intuition has always told me this formula. Take care of feeling good enough so you have a support system, a jetpack, a utility belt, okay, an inventory, you have ammo, and then you traverse the darkness with unconditional love and unconditional light. These two things. You protect yourself with the higher energies, with the higher frequencies to traverse into shadow work. And then once you're in the darkness, it might feel like you're falling, but really there might also be a reemergence on the other side. Almost like a slingshot gets pulled back, but then flung forward. So that's what shadow work has, this effectiveness when done in a very considerate and sincere manner with oneself, right? Like not just going, oh, you know, this person told me to ask myself the shadow work question, and so I'm going to ponder it for a week. It's more so, what am I lying to myself about? What am I hiding from the world? Am I really hiding my true powers? It happens spontaneously, shadow work, right? And it becomes lifestyle-driven shadow work. And also raising your vibes becomes a part of the lifestyle too. In a sense, you could say it all meets eventually with lifestyle as the bridge. Okay? Lifestyle is the gateway towards having both and cultivating both elements of these. And the dark and the light, creating harmony, creating yin-yang integration. Okay? Shadow work, light work, shadow work, light work. Creating this infinity loop of positive upwards momentum. Sometimes it's scary for people who are in the shadows and they can't find a way to climb out. Okay? This is why it's good to start with the chakra system. Something like my program will definitely help you raise in your state of consciousness from the lowest state to the highest state. Okay, we have to clear everything in between that are incongruencies or blocks or things that aren't serving you. That program is called Flomo Sapien. It's a little bit expensive, but you can always do payment plans or speak to me about it because, you know, if you really want to win, you got to invest in yourself. That's what I've known throughout my life. So that's that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's go, upward spiral gang. May we never be the same again. Us.